Welcome to TISE TV Season 3. The episode will begin in just a moment. Remember to hit the share button and host a watch party. Representatives will be available to answer any of your questions in the comments below. Like and follow the International Surface event on your favorite social media platforms to get updates on future episodes. Well, without further delay, let's get the show started.
TISE TV Season 3 is brought to you by the World Floor Covering Association, the floor covering industry's largest advocacy organization, representing specialty floor covering retailers, manufacturers, and distributors. Visit them today at www.wfca.org. Also brought to you by Premier Flooring Retailer Magazine, the only publication dedicated exclusively to the success of the specialty retailer and their supplier partners. Visit them today at www.pfrmag.net. As well as Fabulous Floors Magazine, connecting the flooring industry to consumers. Visit them today at www.fabulousfloorsmagazine.com.
Now let's get the show started.
We are selling this globally. It's a hit product around the world. At the end of the day, humbly say it is a groundbreaking, revolutionary product in a lot of different industries. We've got a lot of hot time here, so I'm going to talk to you a little bit about the mechanics of it. But so this is the Grabo handheld power tool. The unit itself weighs about 5 pounds. A lot of people think it weighs a little bit more when they first look at it, but no, it's only about 5 pounds. So it's really lightweight. We sell this in a canvas carry case. It comes with carry bag, all right, standard for both Grabo models, and it runs on a 14-volt lithium-ion battery. How's everybody doing? Hopefully you're here to actually see Grabo. I knew we were going to go off today. My name's Greg. This is Steve, and he's going to help me demo some of the items that we have up here. Grabo is a 3-year-old product. I believe this is our 3rd year, because I think Surfaces happened right before the world turned upside down. So I believe this is our 3rd year at Surfaces, and the product itself is 3 years old. So 3 years this month, in fact. Highly innovative stuff. Has anybody actually seen Grabo yet? Familiar with it? You? Okay, cool. Are you a user of it? Reseller by any chance? Excellent. All right, so it's good to see some new faces, people that are perhaps not so familiar with it, because again, 3 years in existence now. We are selling this globally. It's a hit product around the world. At the end of the day, humbly say it is a groundbreaking, revolutionary product in a lot of different industries. We've got a lot of hot time here, so I'm going to talk to you a little bit about the mechanics of it. But so this is the Grabo handheld power tool. The unit itself weighs about 5 pounds. A lot of people think it weighs a little bit more when they first look at it, but no, it's only about 5 pounds. So it's really lightweight. We sell this in a canvas carry case. It comes with carry bag, all right, standard for both Grabo models, and it runs on a 14-volt lithium-ion battery. All right, so really easy. Comes with a charger, of course. Takes about 2 hours to fully recharge the battery, and super easy, kind of computer laptop style charger there. Slides right in. As you see, it's easy to remove, easy to turn off. There's a hard on-off switch. When you turn that on to get the action going, you're not using any battery at that point in time. There's an actual suction mechanism, which I'll show you shortly, and that's what's going to make kind of all this magic happen. A couple other things about the Grabo. This foam rubber seal here. So this is strong IP protection we have on this seal here, and it's basically has a nice little petite profile to it that enables you to work around rough raised surfaces. So we sell a lot of this landscaping, hardscaping market, stone shops, guys with rough concrete. It can be pretty raised and rough, and it's going to mold around that surface and pick up. It'll pull it down to the red foam rubber that you see here, and that basically creates the friction needed to create that suction and create that seal. So Max holding capacity on this unit right here is 375 pounds for this one single unit, okay? So on a piece of granite, glass, those low porous or even non-porous surfaces, that's where you're gonna get that max 375 holding capacity. Even on a piece of wood, drywall, 165 pounds is the holding capacity. So if you can imagine what a 165 pound piece of drywall is, it's probably this entire stage here, right? So really magnificent holding capacity. Basically anything you're gonna, a single person's gonna attempt to lift, this has enough holding capacity. I don't think too many people are gonna try to lift anything beyond that, unless maybe you're the Rock or something like that. So, so that's the deal. And this is our latest model, the Grabo Pro. We launched this in 2019. The original version was the Nemo Grabo. Obviously, as time goes on, you create greater enhancements to your product. This is the Grabo Pro. You probably can see it from where you're sitting. It has an LCD panel, really sleek. When you turn that on, it'll actually show you the holding capacity. I'll show that in a little bit. So this is going to tick up this number, and you'll see it tick up when you're dealing with granite or glass, perhaps. You'll see it meet or exceed 375 pounds. And what that's simply telling you is that it can hold 375 pounds of that exact surface that you're holding in your hand. The unit has a smart sensor to it, again on the Grabo Pro, and this is some of the latest features. We launched this in October of last year. The unit will actually cycle off when it creates that seal and basically work a lot more efficiently for you. And we're going to show all this to you in the demonstration. Just wanted to give you a little background on it. This model retails for $299. The original version, which has the same holding capacity in terms of the different surfaces it can work on and the amount of weight it can hold, retails for $199. Why? It just essentially doesn't have that auto sensor aspect to it. It has a mechanical gauge instead of an LCD gauge. But we're basically catering for different types of workers and personnel and perhaps price-sensitive customers, etc. So we have the two models on the market there.
We'll be right back after this quick commercial break.
I've been doing this work my entire life. Building is in my blood. Lifting, moving, installing, all day long. The job is still hard work, but the Grabo makes it all just a little easier. Grabo. Heavy lifting made easy.
So that's the deal. So let's get into some demonstrations because that's where the magic lies. I think that's where the wow factor is. And Steve here is somebody Steve actually doesn't work for Grabo, but he's somebody that we employ for demonstrations. He uses it on the job site. He's a guy that works in the construction field, so we obviously like to get real life use case feedback. And Steve's our guy, and he's devastatingly handsome, so he's a good guy to have on your side. So yeah, we'll work our way across it and just kind of work across this way, and he'll be demonstrating the Grabo Pro, right? So kind of show you the different surfaces it works with.
Tile right here.
So we have it right here, like a little piece of, like kind of a porcelain panel type, very thin. It could even work on this surface, frankly. I'll show you that. Yeah. Look at that. I can even pull that battery out. You're not losing any suction. All right. So if people ask me all the time, well, what if your battery dies? What if you miss the indicator light, which there is one, of course? Am I going to lose? Is it all of a sudden going to drop on me? The answer is no. Now, if you're working with an extremely porous surface, perhaps like wood, the unit, as I mentioned, has a smart sensor to it. If you can see here, it's indicating right now that the wood can hold up. It can hold up to 150 pounds of this specific wood. This wood is actually quite porous, if you can see that there. So 150 pounds, it's going to get pretty big on this type of surface. It's going to continue to run. That suction is going to continue to happen. Why? There's air traveling through. The unit needs to continue to suck, but it has that smart sensor that knows, let's continue to suck away, hold that surface. Okay? If you left that running on a piece of wood, conservatively speaking, 90 minutes. That's if you left it running. But as we know, the Pro is going to turn on and off as you're working. Give you an example. We're at the trade show this week. We have 3 demos on our table. We won't need to change the battery the whole week. It's just that efficient with the Pro, and you get a lot of longevity, several hours of work time out of it. So yeah, let's show some more. Here's a piece of drywall. Again, with this surface, it's going to continue that sucking mechanism. Steve's already ready to go. This is indicating here 194 pounds of this specific piece of drywall. So it's taking the guesswork out, guys. It's letting you know how much you can hold. Again, hard pressed to find a 195 pound piece of drywall, right? So it's basically going to meet all your needs. And we kind of move along. Yep. This is this is quite a heavy piece of tile that he has here, actually. So, all right. Yep, and see how quick that picks the surface up. So, really works well, fast, easy. I like to show people just how quick it actually works. Right? You can kind of go through the whole material. Bang. It's ready to go, even though it's still sucking, still creating greater, vacuum. You're still ready to go on there. These eyelets you see here, a lot of guys have gotten creative. So we sell this primarily through our distribution channel. That's why we come to these shows, meet retailers, distributors in the tool, stone trades, all different fields. There's been a lot of different accessories that have spawned from the Grabo to handle like large porcelain panels, systems that have 6 Grabos lined up to kind of hold a delicate piece of thin porcelain. And these eyelets here are also used for lifting straps. I've even seen some people create like kind of pulley systems with these in tow as well, utilizing metal hooks. They're also rated, of course, up to 375 pounds and north of that. So you have a lot of different ways to get creative with Grabo. When we launched this in 2019, frankly, we didn't know where it was going to go. We really didn't. After a lot of calling around, a lot of kind of feeling around, we found that the stone fabrication shop took to it really quickly. And basically, what I always like to say is we put a tool in the hand of guys that didn't even have one before. Whatever they were doing in the shop to maneuver the marble, certainly wasn't as efficient as having a Grabo. So we introduced this, took off like that. Grand Cord's one of our key distributors here in the U.S. They're a supplier of our product. Actually, if you go around, you might see we have a booth here, of course, but you might see 4 or 5 other distributors and dealers here that have had this in their booth. It's our product. We're Grabo. We're Nemo Power Tools. We're the manufacturers, but again, these are our distributors that are helping to facilitate the growth.
We'll be right back after this quick commercial break.
No design project is ever decided by one person. Which is why shareable contact information is so important. Join in Crowd Digital Business Cards makes it easy for your clients to share your contact info and send you referrals. Create your free card today. Upgrade for only $1 a month. You work hard. Make it easy for your clients to send you more business. Join in Crowd today.
So stone fabrication shops. What we tell guys, it's held up very well in dusty and even wet environments. Not a waterproof tool, but it has a closed circuitry. So in granite fabrication shops, if you have very dusty environments, we have silicone buttons over here, silicone covers rather over the buttons, help prevent dust from entering in, increase the longevity of the button. A lot of these guys will also wash down their granite, and they ask me all the time, do I have to dry it? The answer is no. So they'll wash down their granite, slap it right on. There's no the holding capacity is really not diminished at all. And if there is any water that sucks through, it has movement to kind of seep out the back, but it won't mess up your circuitry. And so that's been really neat. It's held up really well in that type of environment. And yeah. So moving on to some other products. So we have wool. We showed you here. See, maybe you give a quick pick and pull of that wool there. Wood there, sorry. Yep. So as I mentioned, we really kicked off in the stone market, fabrication shops. The natural progression was into the flooring and tile markets, installers, etc. We see a gravitation towards large format tile the last few years. I'm sure, as everybody knows, Grabo has come in a huge part of that. So now you're dealing with, a large piece of tile. These guys can maneuver it. You'll see a lot of guys using 2 now. Most guys buy 1. They come back, say, I need 2 of these things. Maybe 2 guys are working, 1 in each hand. Bottom line is really opened up the flooring market, installers, etc. You're saving your fingers, lay a piece of tile down. Now you're not having to wedge it out. So it's had a lot of different uses. Then it gravitated over to the hardscaping market. Just to give you a little background on the history on the product. Rough concrete, outside pavers, wet cast pavers in particular, so travertine, picking up laying down tile. And actually, why don't we do a demonstration like that we're talking about? This is actually one of our newer accessories that we launched last year in the fall. It's called the Ergo. Works in conjunction with either Grabo model, the Nemo Grabo, or the Grabo Pro. And with the Grabo Pro, it's nice because it's going to turn that suction mechanism off. Pick it up. It's got a hand release kind of bike grip that to release it. Just moving on, saving your back, right? That's the idea behind it. So that's a nifty little thing. Again, using the eyelets that we have here, the metal hooks. Nice little accessory that spawned from that. So that's one of our own products that we created here. And I want to ask Steve, because Steve is, that's why I like to bring Steve up here. He has had experience in the trade working with the tool. And, share, if you can, please share your experience with Grabo, what you like about it, and things of that nature.
Yeah, so just a little bit of what I've done. I've used Grabo personally for setting tile and for pavers outside. It gives you that handheld, or that handle right where you need it, right in the middle. So when you're setting tile, normally you set it, put your thin set on, you go to set it, you have to hold it on the edges, on the corners, it's convenient for a lot of people. So when you have a Grabo, you just put it right in the middle, and when you're setting, you can set right where you want it, right on top, and go with that square placement right into it. Same thing with pavers too. One of the problems is, you're doing pavers, you're working with them, you mess up, you get too low, you push your sand up, you got to re-level, re-smooth out your surface. This allows you to come right over top and set right in place. It gives you that good square compaction. It gives you, without having to mess up, without having to go back and reset your layer, reset your surface.
Yep.
Also for drywall, for plywood, it gives you an easy handle. Set it right on, carry it right where you need it to go.
We'll be right back after this quick commercial break.
I've been doing this work my entire life. Building is in my blood. Lifting, moving, installing, all day long. The job is still hard work, but the Grabo makes it all just a little easier. Grabo. Heavy lifting made easy.
So like we say, it's a material handler. So now tell us about, I think one of the things, even perhaps one of the earlier hurdles with Grabo was the believability factor, which is why we do live demonstrations, of course, but there was a lot of video footage in this day and age, social media. People honestly thought it was CGI that they were seeing because of the versatility of the product and how strong it really was. Getting over that hurdle of like, can I trust this product? And now, luckily, 3 years later, we have users have bought into the product and it's performed really well. Tell me about your experience with it and like how comfortable you feel with it and reliability and really your comfort factor in using it for your day-to-day work. Obviously, sometimes you're handling expensive materials and
so especially with the Grabo Pro, you don't have anything to worry about because when it starts to lose that suction, it's going to cycle right back in. Pick that suction back up and allow you to keep moving. Sometimes it won't even shut off, depending on how porous the material is, but it allows me just that comfort of just walking straight through, carrying it to where I need it to be, and then we can get it set into place without having to worry about breakage. Don't have to worry about things slipping out of my hands. It gives me a good, solid hand grip right here in the middle.
Yep. Cool. Yeah, please.
What did you say the working time was?
So, if you're working on a piece of wood, which is porous, so it's going to maintain that suction mechanism. So if I were to leave this on, the suction, can you hear that suction going? That's 90 minutes. The Pro, as we know, has that automated sensor. If it's going to turn off when it has good adhesion, you'll hear that click off. So at this point, you're not really using any battery. Okay? So that's why you're going to get several hours of work time out of this. Depending on listen, pressure will get lost over time. The sensor will kick the unit back on. So when I first picked this up, I think it was indicating on the handle around 380 pounds. So even though it's rated to 375, oftentimes you'll see it go above that on those low porous surfaces. It's slowly ticking down. It has a threshold. When it needs to, it'll kick back on. The less porous the surface, it could be 10, 15 minutes before it would need to kick back on. Bottom line is, and most people work intermittently, right? So bottom line is you usually get several hours. But good question. Any other questions, anybody? Please. Weight capacity? Yeah, so a single unit, 375 pounds is the max rating on the unit itself. And you're going to get that on a surface like that. Granite, to the granite shops, they count on it holding up to 375 pounds. Of course, we have guys that are, as I mentioned, sometimes you have two guys, one on one end, one on the other end. You're going to get way more than 375, and so you're going to exceed 500 pounds easily on holding capacity. So now we're talking about a really large piece of granite or stone that you can maneuver. So the holding capacity on glass, you'll also see that max holding capacity, 375 pounds. Basically anything very low porous or non-porous even, that's where you're going to get that maximum hold. Again, wood, that's where you'll see somewhere between 150 to 250 depending on the actual wood surface, how low that porosity is. The less porous, of course, the greater the holding capacity, but on a piece of wood, even at 100, 200 pounds, again, huge piece of wood, especially if it's pretty porous.
Yeah, I've done 4x8 sheets of plywood, 4x8 sheets of drywall, 2 Grabos, no problem. Single Grabo, no problem. Just depends on how far you got to move it, how high you got to lift it, but no problem whatsoever, all the way up to a quarter inch.
Yeah, I've never heard of anybody come to me and say, I'm trying to lift this and the Grabo's not showing up. That's not the case, right? Because again, single person's only going to try to lift so much. You wouldn't even want your worker or your staff or your team to be trying to lift something too much, right? Because at that point, putting themselves in harm's way. So Grabo, no matter really what surface that you're working with, exceeds the holding capacity that you're looking for to achieve. That's the bottom line. And then if you have 2 guys working, we're really getting into some high numbers now, right?
We'll be right back after this quick commercial break.
No design project is ever decided by one person. Which is why shareable contact information is so important. Join in Crowd Digital Business Cards makes it easy for your clients to share your contact info and send you referrals. Create your free card today. Upgrade for only $1 a month. You work hard. Make it easy for your clients to send you more business. Join in Crowd today.
As long as your thick set's not set up yet. It depends on how far along you are in the process, but yeah, if you gotta... Right. No, it gives you that perfect seal, that perfect handle wherever you need it. Wherever you need a handle, as long as it's flat, it gives you that handle. And even if it is rough textured, it gives you that handle too, especially with the bigger seal, the rock seal. You get that with...
that's a nice segue. So as you know, there's no glue to replace this seal, all right? And it's what I like to tell people. They ask me, how long is this seal going to? First of all, they're about $20 at the retail level, so very inexpensive. What I tell people in terms of longevity of this seal is, if you're using it daily in rough environments, when I say rough, that kind of rough raised concrete pavers perhaps, maybe pillar caps, and you're using it every day, a couple hours a day, I'd say on average about five months. It's a long time. Plenty of, we know a lot of people here these days, contractors that use it, they've told me to get way past the year on these. So they've held up really well, very durable. As you see, easy to pop out. There's no glue, it's that easy. Pop it in, you're ready to go. Hopefully you guys are using the canvas carry case to help protect it further, but at the end of the day, you're not losing your tools should this tear or anything like that. But luckily, they've held up very well in the market. So it does have that extra give, right? That's what's creating the ability to get around those rough, raised concrete surfaces and really kind of get a nice hold. You'll see some videos online, some amazing pieces of stone. We bring them here, but they get pretty big. We created the rock seal. Why? It's specifically for rocks, higher profile rocks. This is a much deeper, essentially the same type of foam mechanism, much deeper profile. We say it's up to 10 millimeters in terms of the holding. So basically where this seal might leave off, the rock seal will allow it to mold a little bit stronger on that rough raised concrete surfaces and get that nice hold. So we're seeing the hardscaping, landscaping companies that we do business with around the world starting to take notice on these, starting to pick these up. This is quite new, to be honest, only a few months now, so it's just starting to take hold. Retail price point on this is just over $20 or so at the end user price. So again, not an incredibly expensive item. It has its purpose if you're working in that trade, concrete, etc. Excuse me. Another seal, right, for the product. And again, this what happened here is you pull this out, pop it right in. So that's the rock seal. This is the Slender Seal. Very new, actually. We're just getting really ready to launch this now. It's going to be for wood planks. Actually, I received an interesting video from my CEO the other day that he sent around. He had just a random customer sometimes send us stuff on social media. He needed to remove a thin wood plank. He just needs to replace it. It got damaged or whatever have you. You know, normally you'd have to use some sort of tool to pull it out. He did what he needed to do, loosen up, plucked it right out. So that's where this can come in handy. A lot of guys from the early days said, you know, do you have anything narrower? This is about 4 inches from edge to edge. So somewhere between 3.5, 4 inches, you can get that kind of width, you know, out of it.
We'll be right back after this quick commercial break.
I've been doing this work my entire life. Building is in my blood. Lifting, moving, installing, all day long. The job is still hard work, but the Grabo makes it all just a little easier. Grabo. Heavy lifting made easy.
So that's the Slender Seal. So you got the Ergo, Slender Seal. You may actually see here at Grand Course, as I mentioned earlier. It's one of our big key distributors here. And one of our other is this panel handling system that you might have heard of it. The panel handler works in conjunction with up to 8 Grabos. 4 bars going across, 3 bars going across, vertical and horizontally, allows you to flip a piece of porcelain panel, etc., and work with a really thin piece of material where it needs to be rigid. You're perhaps worried about maybe it bending and obviously breaking, and now you've created a system, a bar system, to do that. A lot of different ideas are coming out of it. We're seeing now a lot of seam setter solutions. We have some of our own that we've developed and getting ready to launch. Some of our dealers have also created seam setter solutions, perhaps for waterfall countertops and kind of bring the seams together, that type of deal. So a lot of fun stuff coming out of it.
Yeah, I've been helping out with this product for 3 years. I've watched this company grow from just the original Grabo to what they have now. It's exciting. It's advanced. It's the only time I've ever seen anything like this other than a hand pump suction cup, which is just the way of the past. So
yeah, and that's good. Is anybody familiar with the manual suction cups in the market? You know, the ones that, all right, I see a lot of yeses in the crowd. So the thumb grip, that type of deal, that type of action, and obviously they've been around. That's what everybody's been using. It's pretty miraculous. That's the beauty of innovation, right? My CEO, Nemo, of Nemo Power Tools, came up with an idea. Actually came up with this idea while rock climbing. Not that I'm suggesting you go out there and do that, but just wanted to think of something cool. He has that type of mind, creates inventions. So on came the Grabo, but suction cups are out there. They sell globally. It's a huge market. We simply made it a lot easier. You're not spending time creating this suction. The other versatility component is you're not going to see those cups work on drywall, wood, or rough concrete raised surfaces. Will not work, period. They're a lot weaker, nowhere near the holding capacity, 375 pounds. Price point's very comparable. I've seen some of those manual cups go as high as $150 a pop, and they need to be changed out pretty frequently. Okay, so this is the new age. This is what we've created. We actually have some other follow us on social media and what have you, because we actually have some, of course, other exciting products in the vacuum cup game. One that's going to be very competitive from a price point with the manual cups you see on the market. And I don't want to tell you too much about it, but that's probably about 4 to 6 months away. We'll have that cup. Price point is very friendly. Maybe not quite as heavy in the holding capacity, but a lot of versatility for floors, glass installs particularly, and it's going to be an exciting product for us. Any other questions? Help me out here. We got 30 minutes here to work with.
You're almost done.
Anybody else? Anybody want to share their experience with Grabo? Anybody here that might have used it or familiar with it? Or should we just start writing up orders? What do you want to do here? All right, cool, guys. Well, I appreciate you coming, really do. Obviously on social media, easy name to remember, Grabo. I'm Greg. My email is greg@grabo. If you need to reach me, happy to help. We have a local Las Vegas office where a lot of these guys are. We are headquartered overseas as well, sell this globally. You do some internet searching, you're going to see a lot of footage, a lot of exciting videos and photos out there, and really, honestly, it's as good as built. You guys have some thoughts, questions, or? Yeah, no worries. Thank you, guys.
Thank you for watching another great episode of TISE TV. Tune in each week as we introduce more great products, manufacturers and solutions. Follow us on social media to set reminders for upcoming episodes. Remember to hit the share button and invite your friends, colleagues and clients. See you next week for even more episodes of TISE TV.
Look, Mom. I made that.